If you're looking to buy Madden 22 coins, head over to MMOEXP.com for the fastest, cheapest, and safest coins on the market. Click the link down in the description and be sure to use code THRONE for 5% off and upgrade your team today.
Alright guys, so today's video we're going to be ranking the top offensive abilities in Madden 22, and this is mostly from a MUT standpoint. I'm looking at it in regards to the AP system, so I'm factoring that in. Obviously this will kind of apply for regs or for CFM, but for instance like Playmaker costs 4 AP in MUT. Therefore, I'll probably put it in the C or D tier. If it was a 1 AP ability, it would probably move up a bit, but 4 AP is so much to justify on an ability, it's just going to weigh it down. Where obviously if this was regs or particularly CFM, there's no AP system. They just have the ability or they don't. So just keep that in mind. I'm talking about these in regards to how many ability points they do cost. I think cost matters a lot, actually. So anyways, regardless, let's do it. We have a bunch of the offensive abilities in Madden 22 here. Almost all of them, we don't have like Homer or Indoor Baller. We're also missing a few like Gutsy Scrambler, like a lot of the worst ones. We have all of the best ones in here. I don't think we have Threat Detector either. There are a bunch that are missing, but for the most part, we have all of the good abilities. I think we have every good ability here. So let's do it. Starting off, Roaming Deadeye. It's gonna be an A tier ability for me. Roaming Deadeye helps you throw the ball on the run. If you let go of the right trigger, it's gonna be accurate no matter what. I obviously have it on my Randall Cunningham. I think it's a really good ability. It does cost 2 AP though. There are other things down here that can do similar, that will have similar effects for lower AP. So we won't rank Roaming Deadeye in S tier. I'll actually just do it right now then. We don't have Sideline Deadeye, I see, but we do have Long Range Deadeye if I could find it. Here's Long Range Deadeye. I'll put Long Range Deadeye in S tier. I love Long Range Deadeye. Basically, every long throw that you end up throwing, as long as you let go of the right trigger, it's going to be a Deadeye ball, whether it's crossbody or just straight up. It just ensures that every single deep ball you throw on the run ends up being accurate. I absolutely love that ability. So I will put Long Range Deadeye in S tier. We'll throw it up there right now. Next up, Playmaker. We did just talk about it. 4 AP. I'll put it at C. I've heard of Playmaker not... I'm going to add an S or an F tier too. Why not? Even though we don't have the true F tier abilities in here, because if we did, we would have like Indoor Baller and Homer and that stuff. But we'll add F tier in. Why not? Playmaker, those 4 AP. I've heard... I mean, I used it a little bit. It was fine. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think it's quite overkill. Offense is already easy in this game. I've heard it doesn't beat me in. I've heard a lot of the time it doesn't even Playmaker the right person. I thought Playmaker was like fine at best when I used it, and for 4 AP, it's like a C tier ability. Next up, Inside Deadeye. I'm going to throw it an F. I don't see a reason to use Inside Deadeye anymore after it was fixed. At least sounds like it was fixed. It's back to being 2 AP, but it doesn't make every ball accurate like it used to. It's just every ball inside the number is going to be accurate. I don't know. Like, that's not important. I don't like it. It's an F tier. Okay. I would be shocked if I ever saw somebody using this ability. Next up, we have one of the Apprentices. And here's where we start running into some trouble is the Apprentices, you can't really tell. Like, all of these, you can't differentiate them very easily. So I'll try to rank them all right here. And you're just going to have to remember where I put them. I think this is Running Back Apprentice. If it's not, I apologize. Running Back Apprentice is like... It's like an F tier. I don't know. It's like a D tier. We'll put D. It's 2 AP when if you have a receiving back. Oh, it might be 1 AP for receiving backs. I think it's 2 AP across the board. Regardless, if you have a receiving back, you can just get Backfield Master. This ability, this is so hard to find. There's so many. Oh my goodness, this is trouble. There you are. I'll put Backfield Master in A tier though. So both of them give hot route, the extra hot routes to running backs. But Backfield Master does it for cheaper for 1 AP on receiving backs, and then you also get increased catching. So if you're going to spend the AP on it, you're probably just going to use a receiving back, and you're probably going to use Backfield Master. Rarely will you see Running Back Apprentice being used. It's really rare. I don't think it's a very good ability. But let me rank the rest of the Apprentices. We'll consider the Slot Apprentice. I think Slot Apprentice is an S tier. I think the crossers and posts that you get out of Slot Apprentice are so good this year, especially the crossers. It's one of the best routes in the game. Definitely needs to be in an S tier. Until we get Hot Route Master QBs, it's going to remain an S tier for me. Next up, we'll say this is Tight End Apprentice. I'll put Tight End Apprentice in A tier, as well as Wide Receiver Apprentice. I'll throw in A tier. So I know Wide Receiver Apprentice does kind of the same thing, but you can get Slot Apprentice for 1 AP on slot receivers. Wide receiver, you can get wide receiver apprentice, you'll get 2 AP. Like on Keyshawn Johnson, it's 2 AP, and you get outside in slot for that. But yeah, again, it's one extra AP, where for slot receivers, you're gonna have 1 AP here. You could probably argue it's S tier as well, because you get both, but I'll throw it in A. Outside apprentice, I'm gonna throw in B tier, and then that would be it for the apprentices. This last apprentice is just, it's nothing. I'm pretty sure there aren't any. I covered running back, tight end, like there would be wide receiver apprentice here. This is wide receiver apprentice. For 3 AP though, or route apprentice, not wide receiver apprentice, route apprentice, it'd be like an F tier ability. There's no reason to ever have route apprentice. Why would I ever want that ability? For 3 AP? No. Extra hot routes at every single position? No, I'm good. Next up, you have matchup nightmare. In past years, it's been good. This year, I don't see much of a reason to have it. I'll put it in D tier. I just don't think it's very good. Better route running, better catching versus linebackers for both tight ends or running backs. It's just not, doesn't do it for me. Or wide receivers, I guess. Next up, deep in elite. I'm gonna put a lot of these catching abilities in B tier. Other than, I guess, if I'm gonna rank deep in B tier, I'm gonna put deep out in S tier. I think that's the one S tier catching ability. Deep out is really, really good. Significantly better than deep in elite. Deep out is like a dunking ability, and I've heard it works on balls thrown to the inside too, over the middle of the field as well. So I'll rank short in right there as well, along with mid in. I'm gonna put short out one below, and I'm gonna put, do we have mid out? Am I blind? Do we not have mid out? We might not have mid out. That's fine though. I'd probably put mid out in C as well, maybe even D tier. I can't think of a situation where people would actually use mid out. Next up, I think this is protected. Protected gives you better, quote unquote, better blocking for your offensive line, which by the way, we're missing pretty much all the offensive line abilities other than a couple decent ones. I'm gonna put it in like D. I haven't seen protected at all this year, and I don't remember protected really ever working in the past. Maybe in Madden 20 it was fine, but I would opt for many other O-line abilities before I would protected. Next up, this is red zone threat. I think red zone threat's a solid like B or C. Lately, I'm almost having trouble justifying the AP on it. I feel like it's almost gotten worse. Maybe it's people are just used to trying to defend it. But if you get a one-on-one in man coverage, it's an auto dunk. I'll put it in B tier. I do like red zone threat for 1 AP on physical receivers. Actually, on a bunch of different receivers. I do like red zone threat. It's decent. I'll put it in B. Spin cycle, I'm gonna throw an F. I don't think there's any reason for spin cycle with how good spinning is already. I don't see a reason to have a spin cycle. And very similarly, evasive. Don't see any reason to have evasive. Spinning without an ability is already really, really good. Next up, grab and go, F tier ability. Again, it just gives you like human joystick after the catch. Human joystick's already an F tier ability. These are already F tier abilities. I don't notice any difference between these two, okay? I think it's wasted AP. All of these are wasted AP right here in the F tier. You're wasting the AP. You're throwing it down the drain. Quick draw. I'm gonna throw quick draw in C tier. I haven't noticed any issues with it. I've heard it might be decent. I haven't used it enough to give like an accurate rating. When I used it on the Cam Newton video, I thought it was good. I'll put it in C tier. There aren't many times where I'd actually use quick draw, but it's decent. Backfield mismatch. This is a good ability right here. 1 AP to get some better route running and better catching on your running backs on their out routes and in routes, and or wheels or whatever you have, the stock routes. I'll put it in B tier. I think it's a good ability. It's a nice little substitute for Backfield Master if you do not have a receiving back. I think Backfield mismatch is pretty good. Bow nose, X Factor. So we do have an X Factor in here. And here's another X Factor. I don't even know what it is. But anyway, bow nose, S tier, 100% S tier. I think it's such a good ability. If you're a runner, you need to be using bow nose. You know, you're going to break that first tackle once you get them glowing orange, once you get to those 6 rushes. Wow. So hard to earn, man. So hard to, wow, this web page is using significant, okay, whatever. Bow nose, definitely S tier. Definitely S tier. If you run the ball at all, you should definitely be using it. Bruiser, I'm going to put an F. I'm just going to consider that wasted AP, but I'm going to put Bulldozer significantly higher. I'll put Bulldozer in like B or A. I'll put it in A. Why not? Bulldozer, really, really good running ability. Probably the best ball carrier ability in the game. Bruiser's just wasted AP. You're never going to be arm barring. Like, you're never going to, or stiff arming rather. That's why arm bar isn't even in here. It's below F tier. You're just spending more AP to do what Bulldozer does. That's why Bruiser's down here. It's more powerful trucks and stiff arms. Next up, we have like Focus Kicker, which, I mean, I should put in F, but I'm going to throw it in. Did I just lose it? I did. I'm going to throw it in S. I mean, there's no downside to using Focused Kicker. You get it for 2 AP. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you lose Clutch Kicker, I guess. But you should definitely be using Focused Kicker. I know it's a meme on my channel, but you should. Conductor. Conductor's either A or B tier. I'm going to put it in B. I just haven't found many times where I'm actually able to use Conductor this year, just because many of the QBs that I like don't get it. Dan Marino's gotten it. It could be A tier too. It's probably an A tier ability. Yeah, I'll put it in A tier. Why not? Dashing Deadeye, F. Never use dashing. Use the other Deadeyes. Dashing only works through like 35 yards from my understanding of it. I would rather use roaming or long range. Edge Protector. I haven't seen many edge threats lately, so I'm going to put it in D. Maybe it's a C. Maybe it's an F. I don't know, but I haven't seen anybody running edge threats, so I'm just going to put it in D tier. I am not big on O-line abilities. Like, I'll put post up. Post up's better double teams. I'll put it in C tier. Like, I'm just not big on them. Yeah, no, I would just rather spend my AP on other things. But if you are going to use an O-line ability, it's probably going to be post up. It's probably going to be like B or C tier. Next up, Escape Artist. I mean, it's an obvious S tier. I'm going to put it at the top of S tier. If I can slide it up there, right behind Bono, or right ahead of Bono's. Escape Artist, one of the best abilities for quarterbacks in the entire game. Quite frankly, OP, especially in regs. It's way too good in regular teams. Oh my gosh, Escape Artist QBs are cracked. Next up, Fast Break. It's probably like a C tier ability. I don't know. I don't really run with my quarterback, and I don't face many people that do run with their quarterback a lot, especially now that the RPO glitch is patched. Put it in like C tier. I'm sure there's use for it. I'm sure Ragusa is out there using Fast Break. He's got a way to make it decent, but now I'm throwing it in D tier. I'm throwing it in D. I don't even know if I've played against Fast Break this year. Next up, Fearless. Could quite honestly be like an A tier ability, but we're gonna do B. Basically makes you immune to pressure when you're throwing. I wish Josh Allen would have gotten it. I think Dan Marino does. With how bad pressure and accurates can be this year, Fearless is a good ability. I'm gonna put it in B. Next up, to be honest, I don't know what this is. I think it might be Pro Reads or something. I'm throwing it in F tier. I don't have a clue. It's an X Factor, okay? Just, it doesn't matter. Next up, Gunslinger. Top of S tier. My favorite ability in the whole game. I love Gunslinger. Love, love, love it. My favorite ability. Faster throwing animations, faster ball velocity. Yeah, it's quite a few AP. It's like 4 or 5 AP. 4 on strong arms, 5 on improvisers. I don't know what it's on scramblers. We'll see. Well, I guess in field generals get it for... I'm not sure on field generals. Regardless, though, Gunslinger's definitely at the top. It's the best throwing ability in the game. Hot Route Master, I'm going to put right up here, too. I'm going to put it right behind Escape. I think these 3 abilities are by far the 3 best abilities in the game. They're obviously all quarterback abilities. They're all throwing abilities. Like, I'd still consider, like, Escape is still, like, it's a quarterback, like, passing ability. It is a passing ability. Yeah, it can help you scramble, but it's going to make passing easier, too. Yeah, Hot Route Master, it's so cheap. You get every hot route in the game on every single player. You can't beat that. Next up, Identifier. I'm going to put it in B tier. It's just unfortunately like too much AP in a lot of situations. I think you can get it for 1 AP on like certain quarterbacks, but most of the time it's going to be 2 AP. Like I think if you have it like on Dan Marino, I think it's 1 AP. But if you have it like on an O lineman, it's going to be 2 AP or like a different quarterback. There's just so much AP just to see my opponent's user. And yeah, that can be helpful sometimes, but for the most part, I think it's a little bit too highly priced for me to... It's probably like a C tier ability. Yeah, I'll put it in C. I love the ability, but I can't justify it. Nasty Streak, I'm putting in F. I'm sure that, whatever, I'll put it in D. I don't run the ball. I'm sure there are ways to make Nasty Streak good. Pass Lead Elite, I want to put in B or A. I'm going to put it in B. I thought about putting it in A. I was really close to putting this thing in A. But just, you know, it's better ball velocity on pass-led balls. I'll put it in B. Gunslinger is so much better than Pass Lead Elite. Route Tech. Route Tech's good. I haven't loved it this year, but a lot of people love their Route Tech, so I'll throw it in A. I'm just going to give you quicker cuts on routes. Route Tech is a good ability. On Route Runner, it's going to be 2 AP, so that makes the route running archetype receiver much more valuable. I'll put it in A tier. Set Feet Lead, I'm putting in D. It's a throwing ability, sure, but like The balls I have seen lofted from set feet lead quarterbacks, I can't put it any higher. I really can't. If you can figure out a way to make set feet lead work, that's awesome. Especially because you're going to get Hot Route Master with it on a lot of QBs, but I can't put it any higher than D. Slot-o-matic I thought was decent. I'm going to put it in C. It's really, I think, only valid on slot wide receivers. Maybe route. Yeah, I mean, if you have a route runner, you're just going to use route tech. Slot-o-matic basically gives you quicker cuts on routes from the slot and gives you a little bit better catching. It was okay on Hushmanzada. I thought it was fine. Next up, Tank. I actually think Tank is really good. I think Tank is a really good ability. It's 3 AP. I'm going to put it in B tier. I would almost put it in A. Basically breaks hit stick tackles, and if you run the ball a lot, you should definitely be using Tank. But it is like 3 AP, so it is a lot. And then here's the last receiving ability, or route ability. I don't know what it was. But this is what I'd say my tier list would be. Okay, that was actually quicker than I thought. It's so many abilities. I'm pretty proud of myself for remembering about all of them without the names. But I think this is correct. What do you think about my S tier? Gunslinger, Escape, Hot Route Master, Bow Nose, Long Range Deadeye. That could be an A tier. It really could. But it's 1 AP. It's so good. No, that's got to be an S tier for me. This is Slot Apprentice, and then Deep Out Elite with Focus Kicker. That's a pretty stacked S tier. That's a really good S tier. I think those are all abilities that you want on your team. That, you know, if you can fit, you're gonna go out and get them. I would honestly consider moving Roaming Deadeye down. I might move it down to B. But now my A tier is so little. It's so thin. I'll move it back up. Backfield Master, I had Tight End Apprentice and Wide Receiver Apprentice with Bulldozer, Conductor, Route Tech, and Roaming Deadeye is my A tier. I'm reading through all these just in case you're skipping to the end of the video. I want to read them all off for you. That's a decent A tier. It's a lot of really good abilities that just typically, like, if you have space, you're going to try to fit them in. But they're not like what you're going to build an offense around. Next up, B tier. Again, these catching abilities, I don't have much of an opinion on. We don't have mid-out elite. I apologize for not having mid-out. I said this was outside Apprentice. Doesn't serve much value to me, but I'm sure for certain people in certain offenses, especially in bunch, it's okay. You're probably going to use Wide Receiver Apprentice now, though. But it is 1 AP. Also Red Zone Threat, Backfield Mismatch, Fearless, Pass Lead Elite, and Tank. Yeah, pretty good tier. C tier, mostly just overpriced ability. Not just overpriced, but kind of just overpriced. Post-up is 2. Quick Draw is, who knows, like how good it is. Identifier's 2 in a lot of situations. Slot-o-matic is like, rarely are you going to be able to use it. It's going to be only on slot receivers. And then Playmaker is super overpriced. D tier, we have Running Back Apprentice. For whatever reason, if you're using that over Backfield Master. I have Matchup Nightmare, which in the past has been really good, but this year I don't see much of it. Protected, Edge Protector, Fast Break, Nasty Streak, Set Feet Lead. Now we're getting nasty. Those abilities, I can't see myself using any of those. And I would rather use other things than Edge Protector as well on the O-line. And then lastly, Route Apprentice, like I mentioned, they're basically, I would consider them almost useless abilities. You're kind of just wasting AP. You know, you got Bruiser right here. Again, you could just use Bulldozer instead. Human Joystick Grab and Go. Evasive Spin Cycle, like kind of all the same things. Inside Deadeye, who the hell uses that now? Route Apprentice for 3 AP, where they get every hot route at every spot. Well, that's overkill. And for more AP, no, pass. It's like the same AP as Hot Route Master, maybe even less. But this is my tier list. Let me know where you agree and where you disagree. And if this video helped at all, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It's free, and you can always unsub at any time. I'm still sick, as you guys can tell. That's why I have no face cam. Hopefully I get to feeling better here soon. But I'm going to do a defensive abilities tier list here in the coming days. It probably won't be as intensive as this. I think I recorded... I actually got through this pretty quickly, but I think the defensive tier list would be a lot simpler. There are a lot fewer viable defensive abilities in the entire game. But if you enjoyed, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.